Hey, you made it to Simple Plan Trucking. Welcome. If you enjoy our channel, please subscribe by giving us a like and clicking the thumbs up. Also, click on the bell to be alerted when we release new content.
And if you're interested in joining the Prime family, follow the link in our description box below to driveforprime.com. When filling out your application, use our referral code GRAJDA. Reach out to us with any questions that you may have or call our Prime recruiter, Barbara Brown, at 417-521-3915.
Finally, we ask you to share our channel with friends and family who may be interested in trucking as a career. What we really want is to help people set and achieve goals they never thought possible. Let's get this video rolling.
Let's roll.
Hello friends, this is Captain Dave with Simple Plan Trucking along with Brooke, my wife. She's behind the camera doing all the technical things, taking care of us back there. We're here today in the terminal in Salt Lake City, Utah. As I said in a previous video, we're waiting on our truck to be worked on. It's still more than a day away, and so we're taking the opportunity to work on some new content. Yesterday, when we were in the driver lineup, I ran into someone who watches our channel, and I've not met him before, but he introduced himself, and we've kind of gotten to know you over the last couple days.
Yep.
We're glad for that. This is Brent. And Brent is a solo driver, solo lease driver with Prime, and you drive out of the Western region.
Yeah,
is that what it's called, the Western?
Yeah, it's
region?
called the Western. Well, it's the Western 11 basically. It's like all the 11 Western states is what I drive.
Okay, and he's from this area. He's from New Mexico, so this is his neck of the woods. You know, we say all the time for Brooke and I when we come out here, it's almost like going to a foreign country because it's so different for us. But this is home for him, and he likes it. He's used to the area, and I think all things considered, you're pretty happy with Prime, huh?
Yeah, I've been here almost 2 years. Been leased from once I got out of TNT, so you get your highs and your lows, you get your valleys.
Right.
You know, we're in a little bit of a valley right now, but I know we're going to come through it.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about your story. What did you do before, and what led you to trucking?
Well, I've done many things. I did auto parts in my early 20s for about 10 years, and then I went and transitioned into cooking professionally. So I have my culinary degree, put myself through school to do that, and with cooking, counting high school and all that, I have about 20 years experience in the restaurant industry, either cooking, running restaurants, management, stuff like that. And then once COVID hit, it kind of made the bottom fall out in the hospitality industry, so that's why I decided I wanted to get into trucking. And it was something that I'd always looked at. Even in my 20s, I thought about maybe doing, but I think COVID was what pushed me into actually changing and that helped change my mind to do something like this.
And you're a single guy, right?
Yeah.
No wife, no kids?
No wife, no kids.
So it was a little easier for you than maybe somebody who'd have some commitments at home, right? To come into trucking. And so I guess with COVID, not only did a lot of the jobs dry up, but the pay became a lot less too, because people weren't eating out the way that, I mean, it was just the whole economy really crashed.
Yeah, it was mostly like everyone saw across the country. It was mostly curbside.
Yeah.
And then when they started opening up, we could have a little bit inside, but then we were still doing the outside dining. And for the most part, back home, it's everything's open up now, but I can't make the kind of money that I make now,
right,
that I could back home, because like what I made last week would have been a month's worth of working for me in 1 week.
And that is so cool, and it's encouraging. And so I often am concerned these days with Brooke and I team, and we're married, so we have the efforts of 2 drivers going into 1 bank account. But I often wonder about solo drivers, and I wonder about the economy being down and the revenue being down. And I think some weeks it's got to be tough for a solo driver. But to hear you say, you still made a ton more money even in the tough times than you would if you had a job at home, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think my worst week was, it was only like $500 or $600, but it's because I only got like 2 runs, and it wasn't
Right.
it wasn't great revenue, but it kept me moving, and I didn't have to dip into my emergency fund. And it was, I'm like, okay, I still made money. I have plenty of money that is set aside in my business account, so I'm okay.
Good.
I know I've talked with other drivers. I have other YouTubers that I also talk with, and I'll call them or message them, and they'll call me back, like, just so I can talk, be like, hey, what are you guys seeing, or this is what I'm going through, and they're like, yeah, we're all kind of seeing that. Just keep your head about you, and just focus on what you want to accomplish. Is how I look at it.
And like we've talked about, in this business, you can't really look week to week. I mean, honestly, there have been weeks when Brooke and I made $500 or $600 as a team, but then we've had incredibly great weeks too. So you look at it month to month, quarter to quarter, or even year to year. And it's exciting to hear the testimony of a solo driver that says, if you are thinking about getting into trucking, it's still a good time to do it. You're still going to make great money. And the exciting thing is you'd be coming in at a low part in the market, so the future would be brighter for you.
Yeah, and I think towards later in the year, I think we're going to start seeing stuff coming back.
And nobody has a magic ball or can say when that's going to be, but it's going to come up at some point.
Yeah, eventually everything will start to turn around. We're in the slow part, but look at everything that happened 2 years ago. That's we're hitting that valley now, but we'll come out of this valley, and I think it'll be stronger for everyone.
Right. What's your favorite thing about trucking? What do you like more than anything else, aside from making good money?
I like going to different places. I've hit 47 out of the 48 lower states, and I also have Alaska. I've been to Alaska. I used to work on cruise ships, so I've been into Alaska and worked up there. A little hard to drive to Hawaii, but
Did you say you have the one that you hadn't been to is Maine?
Is Maine. It's the only one I haven't been to in the lower 48.
Yeah, that could be a tough one. I think the only one we've not been to is Rhode Island, but if you blink, you miss that state.
Pretty much, and you're not missing much when you go there.
So traveling, seeing the country, seeing the sights, the freedom of being on the open road, those kinds of things. And really, we are our own bosses. There's not a lot of people breathing down your neck, so you have some freedom out here too.
Yeah, and my stepdad was in the military, so I've got to see a lot of the world. I basically went around the world by the time I was 19.
Oh, wow.
So that has also helped me in the long run, I believe, because you get to see different cultures, you get to see just everything, and I think you can only learn so much from a book. You learn more, I believe, by life.
I agree.
And I know you were in the military, and I mean, I'm sure you got to go to places and you got to experience other things, and I think it helps you grow in the long run.
Not all good, not all pleasant, but definitely helped me to grow and helped me become the person that I am. So I hear you on that. That's great. How about something that you don't like about trucking? What's your least favorite part of being a trucker?
Well, I try to stay out 2 months at a time, and it gets a little hard towards the end. Probably see I'm a little tired, and it's just you start to get a little burned out.
Yeah.
So that you have to take that time home. You have to take that mental break.
Sure.
Otherwise, you start getting crazy thoughts in your head, and unfortunately there are truckers who have taken their lives on the road because of the stress and everything.
Or succumbed to road rage and done something that they regretted later on.
And maybe the other thing would be like when we get hung up at a shipper, and it's taking extra long to get our paperwork to get unloaded. I mean, it's like, I've already got another appointment I'm supposed to be at, guys. It's like, and I understand their processes. They're having problem having employees and stuff like that. So it's a give and take.
Right. So frustrations, I mean, those kinds of things come in business. It's we know that happens, but the longer you're here and the more experienced you are, you kind of learn the places to try to avoid, which we won't mention those on here, but we've already talked about some of those customers that tend to sometimes not honor or not respect the truckers at all. It's totally about them. But you know, I'm with you. I think it's great. I love Prime. Or you have a pretty positive view of Prime.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't feel like when I came in, I don't feel like I was lied to. I didn't feel like I was strong-armed or pressured into doing anything. It wasn't like, oh, you need to decide, do you want to go company or do you want to go lease?
Right.
I wasn't, you know, and my trainer was upfront with me. He would show me his settlements. He would show, I could see exactly how much revenue the truck was bringing in every week.
Right.
So and it helped, and for the most part, my FM is pretty good with me. We have a pretty good dialogue. I don't try to call him too much now, unless I have an important question.
Right.
Usually, I'll just send him a message, and you know.
Well, those guys are busy, and
Yeah.
honestly, their view of you is the least they hear from you, the better. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, and you're not a thorn in their side. So we're the same way. We try not to bother our fleet manager too much, but. Hey, I agree. I mean, there have been no surprises since we've been at Prime, and it's been a great experience for us. As a team drivers, we would encourage anybody to come in, and I think I'm hearing from you too, that if somebody was interested in trucking, don't wait. I mean, put your application in, come give it a shot. You're going to make money. You're going to be okay right now, and honestly, it's all looking up. It should only go up from here, right?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, we're in a valley, but I've talked to other people who've been in the industry for years that are 1 million mile, 2 million mile drivers, and they've said, you know, we've been in these before. It might be that for a little while, but then it'll come back up.
Right.
And you know, you have to trust the system. You have to trust the process.
Good. Well, listen. First I want to thank you for listening, joining our channel. We're glad to have you as a subscriber. And this is just another example of what we gain from having a YouTube channel, is we're making friends wherever we go. And you know, we'd stopped several times, you know, over our last couple days here. And you know, Brooke's the shy one. She doesn't like to be recognized, but I eat it up. You know, I love that stuff. And it's all about the relationships that we make out here. So now we have another Prime family member, Mr. Brent. Any parting words for the folks?
If you're really thinking about coming in, put your application in. If it's not with us, that's fine, you know, but look who you feel is going to be the best fit for you. Don't let anyone say, oh, don't do this company, don't do that company. Do what you feel is best for you. That's probably the best advice I can tell you. And talk to truck drivers, or you know, watch YouTube videos or something like that. These guys aren't going to bite you. Anyone who wants to put content out and wants to help people will respond to you, even if it's just through comments on the YouTube. Some of them will have an email, or they might even have a phone number that you can text back and forth with.
And Brent does not have a YouTube channel yet. But he's going to make one. We've encouraged him to do so. If he had one, I'd share it with you today. But if you've enjoyed what he had to say and his words rang true with you, would you like to share your driver code?
It's Newbre, NEWBRE is my driver code. If you wanted to use that, you can use that as a referral for you.
There you go. If you like Brent, want to use his code, helps him out a little bit, and he would be a resource to you when you come through Prime. So that's really all we have for today. It's been great to get to know you. Glad to call you friend.
Especially when I saw you in driver lineup yesterday, I was like, that's Captain Dave.
Yeah, the beard helps with me, but Brooke gets recognized a lot too.
Well, I knew it was you as soon as when I walked in the lineup. I was like, oh, there's Captain Dave.
He said, you need to be making a video right now, don't you? I said, you're right, I do. So that's really all we have right now. Once again, it's great to talk to you today. It's Captain Dave and Miss Brooke with Simple Plan Trucking, our new friend Brent. Y'all take care, be safe out there, and we will be seeing you out on the road. Bye now.